Hi guys, my name is Nyree and you will find me on my channel which is Nyree Squires, and I talk about all things relating to adoption family life, but it's also relevant to foster carers and would-be adopters as well, because I cover about child trauma and behaviour. So if anything there sounds of interest to you, then please just subscribe by hitting the pink button down below. Today we're going to talk about the way children play, and I've been requested this video so I'm making it, and we're going to talk about when children play in a very adult way. I'm not going to talk about sexualized behavior today. I'm just going to talk about when children play in a way but they use adult language around their play. So the first thing to note here, I guess, is that children's development is where it's at the time. And children develop at their own pace, yes, but there's still a remit of development that you would expect for a 2-year-old, 3-year-old and 4-year-old. So if children are playing in a way where they're using adult language, so that could be that they're using words that you wouldn't expect. So maybe they're using swear words, or they're using terms, or the way they are speaking during their play is very adult-like. So you hear intonations in the voice that you wouldn't normally expect to hear. Maybe the play is violent, maybe there is sexual stuff in there, then it's because they've witnessed or heard. They're very, very violent during play, but another family with a 4-year-old playing alongside is not really going to accept that. So there's work to be done with a child that plays in that way, but also, although there's work to be done, there's the opportunity for them to play out those scenarios. So there's work to be done in them understanding perhaps that some of those words and expressions and things they're doing and things they're sharing are not going to be what other children are going to be happy with. But play, as we know, is critical to developing the brain, and is critical to allowing emotional development and allowing for the play to happen, but in a safe environment if it's risky play, as in the way that the play is happening. So what could be done is you could set up scenarios in your front room where you use particular doll's house, things that they can use for imaginative play, so they can get really stuck in, and you can pretty much sit back and let them go with it, and let them talk in an adult way, let them perhaps use language you wouldn't normally find acceptable, let them do the violent play, let them, do what they need to do. If it's a sexualized stuff with the toys, as long as it's safe and there's nobody around to be damaged by that or hurt by that in any way, then you can sit back and let those scenarios play out. But you can then come in and interject and help them clarify their thoughts around that play. So if they're playing out a violent scene, for example, with a doll's house and dolls, you can let it go for a little bit. Let them express their trauma, express what they've seen through the dolls or through the objects, because that's a safe way of them expressing it. But you can still come in and say, oh, that didn't look like a very nice situation for those dolls to be in, and oh, what is happening to that doll, that animal there. And then if they want to then talk back to you around that, they can, but they've got a route out. And then you help them develop those play skills and talk about the scenarios that they're using and the language that they're using over time. Then you can help them to understand that actually, as a child, there are things that maybe they shouldn't have seen, and that have not been good for them, and you can help them around their play, get things out in the open. And when it comes to children that are using lots of swear words and adult phrases, they're not going to actually physically know what they mean, unless we're talking about older children here. They're not going to understand what those phrases are. They're not going to understand what those words are. So another suggestion for you is to give them an alternative word which is, not offensive. So you can think of the obvious F word here. So you can give them a different word like fudge or something like that. And because I don't understand what the F word means, then, fudge is a good a good alternative. And again, gradually over time, if you don't make too much of a fuss over it, they will learn to adapt and use those words. And actually in the household, if they're not hearing the things they did before and those things are not being played out in the new household, then gradually over time they will drop some of those things off. There are other things which might impact on them. Again, these are developmental things or conditions that they might have. So if they have something called echolalia, which is attributed to those with autism, then echolalia will learn adult phrases off by heart almost. So you could have a child that is autistic who uses echolalia to repeat phrases and patterns that adults have, and it makes them sound super duper intelligent, but actually what they've done is learn all of that by rote. And if you're talking about an autistic child with echolalia, then that is a pre-existing condition. It's not the same as a child who is experiencing trauma in the way that we've just been talking about, when you can play out situations through play therapy type stuff. So guys, hope that helps you. If it does, as I say, please click on my circle picture down below and give me a thumbs up, and explore my channel and see what's on there for you, and hopefully you will find it helpful, and I will see you on my next video. Look forward to seeing you then.